Hello, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World. And it's a Sunday afternoon. Maryland's going to get a lot of snow. Um, my wife is resting. Um, so, the Battle of Brandy Station. I got a lot of messages, 700 views, Dave Markle and many others. Yes, you are all correct. A lot of mistakes made by me. Um, the game was played with using some Donald Featherstone rules, battles with model soldiers. The scenario was from the great Scott Mingus. Now, Dave Markle, right off the bat, need to let you know, I'm going to come up to the camera. Scott Mingus actually has the different ratings of the figures. Many of these cavalry units were actually veteran. Okay? And his detail lists the type of weapons they're carrying, breech loading carbines, for instance. I ignored a lot of that. I just painted with a broad brush of the order of battle to throw figures out on the table. So I made a lot of mistakes, but I also had a really fun time. It was not quite historically accurate in any way, shape, or form. And I'm making this video just to chit chat with you about, you know, the fences. All right, brother against brother. Treated defenses would be the cavalry unit could get to the fence to charge the Confederate cavalry unit, but it could not go over two fences. Also, cavalry unit sitting at the fence line cannot just jump over it. They should have dismounted, broke down the fence for a turn, depending on the time scale and the type of rules you're using. So, with Donald Featherstone rules, the 1969 book doesn't even cover that. So, and I have a morning cup of coffee. So the reason I'm doing the chit chat session here is I appreciate all your feedback and just having everyone watch my videos, the chuckleheads. Also, my wife's not up to traveling to the Virginia house for a while, so we may be doing more and more videos of the of my basement, and of course with the chuckleheads. Brother against brother. Um, I probably, in hindsight, should have used brother against brother for this game. Now, I recently picked up the original Johnny Reb game. This is one of the. This was really big when I was in high school, and it is the first edition with the scenario booklet, and this is when the rules were printed in this style. All right, now the ranges and movement rates for 15 millimeter. I actually wondered if I could. We played this a lot, Johnny Reb system. I know there's Johnny Reb 1, 2, and 3 and everything else now, but would it be possible to just double the 15 millimeter sizes? Or maybe, I think if I tripled it, the movement rates would be too bizarre. But thinking outside the box in the basement, it's an idea. So, our fence line here, we have a lot of fences, but according to Scott's book, Cross Sabers, Scott Mingus's scenario book, I did the map pretty darn close to his scale, um, for all things considered. However, this knoll here, I put an artillery battery on it, and I should not have. It should have been over here with the other battery. My mistake. Um, as far as the Battle of Brandy Station, um, well, I'm going to say it was a Union victory, but the charges across the fences stone walls, all of that needed to be adjusted. The movement rate for crossing a fence is 2 inches. However, uh, really, I should not allow any unit to charge across the fence. They should have stopped and crossed it, and the next turn be able to cross. Let's take a better look. So as you can see, I also have dismounted cavalry, but I really wanted to get some of this stuff on the table. Some of this Union cavalry has not seen a wargaming table for the most part in many years. Last year I did a little first day at Gettysburg game, but other than that, so these fences, by the way, someone asked me what they are. They are Mark's toy fences from the 50s, 60s play sets. And then some homemade fences that need, and walls that need a little bit of paint touch up. So, crossing the fence, the really probably the cavalry cannot just jump across. Steeplechasing is what one of my people that watch the channel said, and I'm agreeing with you. You know, I just was rolling dice and moving figures, and I don't say a lot about the home things with the wife, but it was just a relaxing wargaming day after a rough week, and we'll leave it at that. And you know, I have to say, at times, wargaming is really just for fun and toy soldiers. Now, I was asked in detail about the Marks figure. Let me pause the camera and bring that up. Okay, I think it was Bruce. For those of you that are old enough might remember, Marks used to make these collectible figures. They had names, and they were in a box. And they made them for Vikings, Civil War, Rev War. And this plastic here is not rubbery. This is actually a hard, brittle plastic, and they broke. They would break really easy. Okay? I had one of these when I was a kid. Got it at Gettysburg, probably in 5th or 6th grade. Ramrod got broken almost immediately. However, Marks also did a production run of these figures in their regular rubbery plastic, unpainted. They did not make a big long line of these. From what I was told, they just did one or two production runs, and that was it. And I am fortunate enough to have a lot of the Confederate figures of that line that I got from a wargamer who was selling them at the flea market table. He watches both of my channels, and I'm sorry I forgot his name, but some of these figures here are from that line of the brittle plastic made into the rubber. Okay, now as far as crossing woods and all, some wargaming rules have them half movement. Some use inches. You lose 3 inches through the woods, depending if you're using light infantry. There is so much to do with woods, crops, and fields. Let's look at some crops and fields. All right, sometimes it's considered rough ground and things move slower. And other times they're there just for, just as a picture, to make the terrain look more appealing when you're looking at the battlefield. Sometimes rough ground and plowed fields don't affect combat. As far as the hill straight ahead, quite often it costs 3 inches to move up a hill, depending on your game scale, or half movement. So one of the things that never happened was we had no cavalry charge going up the hill because they were slaughtered out in the field. Also, I did make a mistake. All the Donald Featherstone combat die rolls should have been one less to hit. And as far as attacking across the fence, they should have had another -1. My mistake. So, really, just going over this is sort of like the Monday night quarterbacking of the Battle of Brandy Station. And this video is out to Dave Markle and many other people for, I appreciate their input and, saying, hey, I screwed up in several areas. Now, what should we do with the wargaming table next? Because I think the next few weeks, January 25th, I am at Fort Belvoir for that wargame event there, and I'll be running the Battle of the Bulge with the Chuckleheads in 54. So, my question to all of you out there is I pick up fallen trees, and by the way, I'm wearing my CSS News hoodie in Kinston, North Carolina. All these videos that I make and that you watch, I appreciate you watching. From now through April 30th, the YouTube money is going to save Weiss Fork Battlefield. So we've been there. We made a ton of videos, got tours. The CSS News is there, the CSS News 2. So when you're watching my videos and putting up with my bad editing and everything else, you got to remember you're actually contributing to the Save Weiss Fork Battlefield. They're trying to put a highway interchange and a cloverleaf right darn smack in the center of the battlefield. And they can move it 3 or 4 miles down the road with no issues. There's literally nothing in Kinston as far as farm fields out there. So I have this wonderful wargaming table. I'm going to put out a poll. You can either leave a message here or answer my poll. Do I go on to Scott Mingus's next scenario in his Cross Sabers, try to play a little bit more detailed rules? We'll use brother against brother maybe, and handle the fences in a much more realistic way. Dave Markle, you'll be happy to hear that. I also may set aside dismounted troopers to trade out our mounted for dismounted. And I will also look at taking the time to list each regiment, what they're carrying for a weapon, breech loading, carbines, pistols, shotguns, and their grade value. Now, to those of you that are big Johnny Reb fans of 1, 2, or 3, I only own Johnny Reb 1, but there was a time I played Johnny Reb constantly. When I was Civil War reenacting 45 years ago, I actually had a small table and we would do a 15 millimeter miniature game sometimes at events. But I could triple all the movements and ranges on Johnny Reb and try using that system for my table in 54. So one, do we do another Civil War battle or Boxer Rebellion? Sudan, those Egyptians I flocked and all, they want to do I think they want to come out and play too. I have that Gordon of Khartoum scenario where the Egyptians are out with the camels trying to get the supplies. So, pardon me. That's a weird coffee flavor. Lisa bought me cinnamon bun coffee. So it tastes like you're drinking a cinnamon bun. But I'm very fortunate to have a wife that allows me to war game, go away when she's not feeling the best for a few hours. And she's a great wife, and I really appreciate her support for my hobbies and also dealing with Goober the traveling bear. So, what do we do? Do we do another scenario of Civil War? Do with a Scott Mingus game? Or do I pull all this up and go to the Sudan and the Egyptians? I've really taken a break on making and working on things and flocking things for a while. I just want to do some moving figures. The holidays have been tough. Things a lot going on with my job at work, and then also Lisa's health, and our going back and forth to Virginia for the last several months has been trying. It's almost a 4-hour drive one way. So, I also need to make sure Dave Markle, thank you very much again for being such a great viewer and friend. Um, and this Whitworth gun has seen action in so many war games. It's been in the Boer War. It's been at my Khartoum games. It's been in every Civil War game. Thank you. And Jack Brendel out there in uh, Arizona, thank you very much for the 12 pounder. As you know, you've seen it fight in a lot of battles. Sheriff John and your 93-year-old father, when you send me vehicles, anything that gets sent to me. Frank Prez has sent me some wonderful stuff. And last but not least, I probably should mention, like I always try to, thank you, Jim Shaw, for helping to paint my figures with my eye issues. It's difficult at times. So, anyhow, we hit a lot of stuff. It's just a Bill Babble basement time. And, you know, I screwed up in the last game a little bit. And I felt I needed to be honest and come forward and tell you, yeah, I screwed up. Calvary should not have been able to charge over multiple fences. So I'm going to go download this, get ready for the giant snowstorm we're getting in Maryland, and find out if I should set up the second scenario of Cross Sabers that's available on Wargaming Vault or not. I'm going to listen to the viewers out there. And thank you to all of you. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous. And if Kevin was here, he'd say, be true to your school. I don't know why he does that. It's like a Beach Boys song. All right. Thank you again, everyone.